race we're going to look at before we have a little break and allow you to get your points in is the Stayers Hurdle. And at the moment with FansBet, Flooring Porter is your 130 favourite. Did a spectacular piece of work at Fairyhouse recently against American Mike. Time Hill is 4-1, 9-2 Classical Dream, 9-2 Champ, 6-1 Paisley Park, 8-1 Royal Kahala, 17-2 the headbanger that is Asterion Falange, and it is 9-1 Bar. Right, Dean Ryan, Stayers Hurdle. It is an interesting race. There's probably no absolute superstar in it, but it's open, it's competitive, it's 130 to field. What wins it?
Yeah, you might remember last year, if anyone watched it, I think I called Time Hill a certainty for the race. Unfortunately, he missed it. But what we saw was Flooring Porter go and win it, and it would have set it up perfectly for him. He was a certainty. And this year, he still is a certainty. Okay, the division is terrible. Champ is 10. His Cheltenham record, if you discount... Actually, let's stop the RSA that he won, right? Two jumps out. He's 1,000 to 1, right? The rest of his record is 2F pulled up 2.
He won it, though.
Yeah, I know he did. But he's 10 now. He isn't going to do this. Time Hill would not have been right at the long walk this time round after that French trip. I have no idea why they went to France. I don't know what they were thinking, how they come up with that plan. It looked like he'd never seen a French hurdle, but it looked like he'd never even seen a hurdle before. Everything went completely wrong. So there's a comeback mission then behind Champ. This is going to set up perfectly. Flooring Porter being in the race is exactly what you want for Time Hill. There's not been anything in his races where he's got beaten that could take him to the last and take him over the last. When he won Aintree, it was almost like redemption for what happened at Cheltenham, and they missed the race. I think 4-1 is an outstanding price. There's nothing in here.
Dean, you'll never guess what. I actually agree with you.
There's nothing
First time tonight. I'm a Time Hill fan as well. Dan, an open market. I know you've got an offer on Flooring Porter or Classical Dream to win.
Yeah, so if you fancy one of those two, and I guess it's probably going to be a race who gets to the front and can make all with those two, if you think one can do it. It was 6-4, now 9-4 for either Flooring Porter or Classical Dream. On Time Hill, I agree with both of you. I rack my head. With this race for so long, I think you can pick holes in pretty much everything at the top of the market in one way or another. Paisley Park would be a great story, but again, I just can't see it. This Time Hill is probably the most solid in here by some distance. Only outside of the top two twice. One was in the 2020 Albert Bartlett when he was fourth in the vintage renewal.
Unlucky,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the other time was in France, where you just put a big fat line through that, and
you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Classical Dream is a Weetabix horse. I want to ask the boys down the end what they think of this horse, but it depends.
It's a what?
Right, so it's what they have for breakfast.
Weetabix horse.
It means what they have for breakfast. You don't know what you're going to get. Classical Dream turns up with 2 Weetabix under his belt. You get Classical Dream. Another day, what do you get? What is he? Explain him. You never know what he's going to do. Do you know what the yard know? When the money came from Punchdown the day, backed off the boards, it got exactly what they knew they had. Happened similar to the Supreme. Wasn't even going to go for the Supreme that year. There was a late decision. Then they go. They know what they've got, right? If something like that happens here, I'd be worried about that horse because obviously there's freakish performances in there. But he's a Weetabix horse.
Right, I get your point. I just don't quite get the analogy. But
you're not old enough to remember Ian Botham telling you to have 2 Weetabix in the morning. That's where it came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it not shredded wheat?
No.
It was shredded wheat.
Oh, we have a debate now. It's shredded wheat.
Somebody had their Weetabix. It was Jack
Exactly.
Thank you. The most bizarre thing about that is somebody actually knows what you're talking about.
There's someone as old as me in the audience.
That's Charles McGooey there.
So
Charles the hero.
Okay, come on, Charles. Thanks very much. So it was shredded wheat in the end, anyway.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Well, we have 1, 2, 3 votes for Time Hill. Are you going to make it 4, Diarmuid?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. For a horse that's a bit of a wrong at times, you know, he does kind of he doesn't go through with his effort all the time. He's actually very solid. You know, he always kind of gets thereabouts. Always had a bit of a mental question with him. He doesn't quite go through with it every time, but I think Flooring Porter solves. I've been through a lot with this race this year. Champ was one that I really loved, and he kind of let me down last time, and then I was kind of falling on towards Classical Dream, and then I just thought the Goran one was crazy to go there. It's absolutely mental. So for a horse that kind of goes well.
He did regret it now, I have to say. We were in Willie's last week, and he was like, kind of local track, thought it'd be a bit of a penalty kick, just let him take his chance. He regretted it.
Yeah, and it was, look, I'm never going to question Willie Mullins, you know, he's in it like when it comes to training horses, obviously, or anything else really for that matter.
He's alright, yeah.
But yeah, you know, Time Hill, he's just rock solid, and Flooring Porter is the final piece of the puzzle that maybe he's lacked so far. And he'll get dragged into that race, and Time Hill will get up the hill. This could just be a bit of Stockholm syndrome, though. I've listened to Dean talk about his horse so long that he might just be, you know, it's just been beaten.
We'll let this win for me, and you can have Pat's fancy.
There you go, perfect. Very good.
We'll take it.
4 votes for Time Hill. I just have a feeling it's going to come to an abrupt halt here, Don.
Yeah, I think Florian Porter is overpriced. He's favourite.
Overpriced 130.
Yeah.
Wow.
What price should he be?
5-2, I would have thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's the most likely winner by some way. Like he's a horse who's never really got due recognition. He won last year with any amount in hand. I know Time Hill wasn't in the race, but he couldn't have done any more than he did. And the race the last day at Leopardstown, it was a bizarre race, bizarre start. And I'm not sure Paul wanted to lead on Classical Dream, but he got a flyer and he took it. It didn't help Florian Porter. He couldn't get past him. He kind of, even on the run-in, he nearly didn't want to come out to go around him, but I'm sure Danny Mullins will have a plan to rectify that on the day. And if he can get, look, we know he's got his quirks. He goes to his right, he goes to his left, but Danny Mullins gets on really well with him. And if he can get him into his rhythm early on out in front, I think he's going to take an awful lot of beating. Agree with the lads. I don't think it's a great stairs hurdle, really. Royal Cahal, I think, would be interesting if she ran in this, but I think Peter Fay said if the ground is soft, she's going to run in the mare's hurdle, and if the ground is not soft, then that's going to decrease her chance of winning the stairs hurdle. So I think she's an interesting mare, especially on soft ground, but yeah, I think Florian Porter is the most likely.
One of your strongest fancies of the week?
Not really, no, I just think he's...
Oh.
Yeah, I just think he's it's kind of like you're looking for horses against him, or that's my starting point, but I think he's the most likely winner. I think it's, if he gets out in front, and that's what you're betting on. If he can gets out in front and gets into a rhythm, I think he'll take a lot of catching.
Yeah, I think anybody that saw him work in Fairyhouse, I think it was the week before last, I think took a while to pull him up that day. So he's obviously in good heart, Florian Porter. Mikey Fogarty, what do you like in the stairs hurdle?
Was American Mike in the same bit of work?
Yeah, same bit of work, yeah. Now, I think it wasn't a case of, they were both flat out, but I think it was more what Florian Porter did after the line that day in
Who won the
Fairyhouse
bit
to
of work?
pull him up, Florian Porter.
Florian Porter bet American Mike in the bit of work in
Yeah,
Farias.
but it's work, like it's not.
Did
I
you
don't
see
think American Mike was at the pin of his collar, like.
Okay.
You seen it?
No, I was talking to somebody who did see it though.
2 miles soft ground Fairyhouse.
Presume so, yeah.
Okay.
I'm after hearing 4 horses in that school.
That won it.
No, the 4 horses work with American Mike.
Right.
So
And Florian Porter didn't win it.
I'm sorry, I don't know who won it, but I've heard now.
Oh, Florian Porter won it, alright.
You're the first
was
to
he?
tell me Florian Porter worked in it, but I've heard 2 other horses as well.
Okay.
Was American Mike far behind Florian Porter?
I don't think so, no.
That's just interesting.
Yeah, no,
You'd
it is
never-
interesting.
Wouldn't hear of it nowadays as much, like.
Yeah.
And really, or like, other 2 Cheltenham favourites working.
Well, what would he be running? I can't understand why he'd be working at Cheltenham. Was
Bumper
it over
horse,
hurdles?
like
No, no,
Gordon
it's just
and
a school
Gavin
and
train
bumper.
is similar though. They kind
School and
of
bumper.
yeah, they train similar, and it works honestly. So yeah, no, that's just interesting. And yeah,
I think they both worked well. I think
Yeah.
Gordon was delighted with American Mike and Gavin was delighted with Florian Porter, like.
yeah, I'd say you're right because like your man, like Florian Porter, I'd say is a fair yoke to work now.
Yeah, and am I right in saying in these school races, generally the horse that gets in front stays there? Would that be fair?
Could
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
depends. Yeah, you're
There'd be
correct.
no one wanting to make the running.
Yeah. So that could have been it. Anyway, what do you like, Mike?
Florian Porter, yeah, I just think he's the most solid of them all, really, and there's a few of them there that could let you down. So yeah.
What's Classical Dream like in Willie's?
Me? Oh, he's grand, yeah. Ailish rides him the whole time there, and she looks after him, but he's flopped once or twice.
He looks tricky on the track, like, doesn't he?
That was a bit. Yeah, he did get a bit steppy over hurdles, and then they tried more fences. But I do agree with Don. I don't think Townend thought that was going to happen, and I think it was his day, Leopardstown. But yeah, I just don't know if would he be as tough as Florian Porter, and Florian Porter already won around there. So that would be my reason for it.
Brilliant. So 2 votes now for Florian Porter. David, you get the casting vote.
Yeah, Florian Porter again.
Just wins, is he?
I think the start wasn't great the last day in Leopardstown. It's a fresher horse, and also in Cheltenham, Paul Townend always drops in on the Thursday and the Friday in these hurdle races, and he goes wide. If you could see up the straight the last day in Leopardstown, Florian Porter was hanging left and could never get outside Classical Dream to come around him. He was always looking in behind him. The next day, the inside will be a free runway for Danny.
That's
and
interesting you
Porter.
say that, because that was the first thing Gavin said. Do you remember there was the Stewart's inquiry over the start? And I think he just accepted, but he said the one thing that really kind of bugged him was that
He didn't
Classical Dream at the inside and it just didn't suit
It
Flooring
wasn't,
Porter.
it wasn't the distance he lost at the start for me. It was the fact.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah, he
position
was
that he
in front.
should have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so there you go. We have 3 votes this side for Time Hill, and you can make it 4 if you include me, and 3 votes the far side. So we've a split camp at the top table. That is your stairs hurdle. Now it is exactly 10 to 10, so we're going well. You have 10 minutes, or possibly 9, because it's 9:51 now, to get a pint if you want to get a bag of crisps or something. And we will reconvene with day 4 and handicaps and mayor's races when you come back. A round of applause for our panel, please.